Okay, well, we got some good news here. Today, we just found out that Lewis Brown has won the USGA Senior Amateur Championship. This is a big tournament. To win a USGA national event, well, it's about as good as it gets. Lewis has been on the ABS site here for many years. Any of you that have been around ABS would know about Lewis and his posts and threads that have been on the site. And so this is, great. Big congratulations to Lewis. Just a fantastic achievement. So now there's a really interesting, backstory here. Lou was just out earlier this month, and we spent quite a few hours on the deck working on some of the Hogan Module stuff, which, I know I've been trying to get this stuff out, but I'm trying to really get it right, and running it by Lewis was important to me because he's someone that I have a great respect for. And it was last year, I think September of last year, that Lewis shared with me some of the issues in his swing that he felt he needed to work on, and I thought, well, it would be applicable here to apply the Hogan Module stuff to what he was working on. So I explained it to him, and we worked on the drills, and that was just about almost a year ago, and we had played golf together out at Richmond Country Club with another fellow pro, and had a nice time playing persimmons out there. So anyway, Lewis went back. He hadn't played a tournament in almost a year, and he said he was going to take some time to work on this and try and integrate it. And here we are in August, almost a year later. He goes out and plays his first tournament in almost a year and goes out and wins a tournament. And this isn't just winning some little tournament. This is winning the USGA Senior Amateur. So hadn't played in almost a year and goes out and wins that tournament, and had been working on the Hogan Module stuff. So I just talked to Lou on the phone yesterday, and he said, yeah, definitely helped him out. It was just flattening the shaft of transition using those protocols helped him get the club where he likes to feel it when he's playing the best. So kind of interesting that someone could go out and win a major tournament like that and not have played golf have not played in a tournament in almost a year. So I think there's something to be said for the drills and repetition and practicing and having the time to integrate this stuff without, rushing into, competition right away. So we'll certainly get Lewis on here for an in-depth interview and talk about his experience winning that, great championship, and it's opened up all kinds of doors for him now. He gets to play in the, the British Senior Open for 10 years or whatever. He's exempt into the US Amateur, and all sorts of perks and fun stuff coming up for him. So just fantastic. So anyway, I just wanted to share a little bit here on what it was that we had worked on. So a lot of it over the last year has been through email and sending swings back and forth, and then he's been out here recently with some, going over this stuff in person, but everything, looked pretty good here in August. So in this front video here, what I've always loved about Lewis's swing is he's always had a really, really great lateral movement, and that's able to help him save his rotation. And you can see in this picture here, this was from the ABS site, and you can see how wide open that club face is when he's coming down into P3. It was very much like Hogan here. And then at impact and past impact, as he's moving into P4, you can still see he's saving his right elbow bend. You can't really see it. It's a little bit blurred out, but I think you can kind of see that his right elbow is still bent, long past impact, which really help stabilize the club face. And you can see his upper arms are pinned on his body, very much what we teach with the cohesive body tension stuff. So, Lou just has a great golf swing. He's always had a great golf swing. And that was one of the reasons why, I wanted to talk with him years ago about his swing and his technique and things that he'd been working on. But in transition, when he was younger, he would tend to cross it over at the top. So a bit like Nicholas, and Gil Morgan come to mind, Gabe Brewer. And that is another route to get onto the 430 line. And it certainly is a viable transition to do that. A lot of great players have done that. But Lewis felt like sometimes the crossing over, he'd come down a little bit steeper than he wanted to. So we talked about switching him over from that style and getting a little bit more transition, more like the way Hogan did it. So in these photos, you can see in the first ones here, it's subtle because we're dealing with a really accomplished player here, and that doesn't really need a lot of radical changes to the golf swing here. But you can see that it's just a little bit more upright and a little bit steeper. And then in these next photos, you can see how we were able to apply the Hogan module transition stuff, the tripping the shaft, and using those protocols to just slightly flatten that shaft out a little bit, and helps him get down on the 430 line a little bit deeper. And with that wide open club face, then he can really turn hard and level, which he's always done really well. So it just kind of gives him the green light to just do what he already does. And it's the same thing in my swing too. When I'm not hitting it as well, I tend to feel a little bit steeper coming down, and it just kind of opens up that left side of the golf course a little bit more. So I just want to add here also that on the backswing, we worked on getting a little bit better shoulder rotation here, and a little bit more bow to the 430 line, open up that pathway to slot the club on the downswing. So a combination of a little more shoulder rotation, a little bit more spine tilt, bow to the 430 line, and this all kind of working together to just get the club into position to where Lou likes it. So anyway, that's kind of what we did, and this was, almost a year process of drilling and working on this stuff. And, I wasn't really expecting him to go out and win the US Senior Amateur in his first event after working on this stuff, but it doesn't surprise me. I mean, I certainly can't take the credit for Lewis's golfing accomplishments. I mean, he's been a great player for a long time. But I think, with this stuff, it did help him a little bit and assisted him in getting to where he likes to feel the club coming into the downswing. A little more laid off, a little more flattened out at transition to get him playing right on that 430 line where he can just turn into the strike. So, good stuff. It's always great to see people that have worked through some of the ABS concepts or all of them and go out and have success, because, if you decide to play competitive golf, then you should be trying to win tournaments. And I like to see people winning tournaments. We just had Jesse Perryman won his club championship and working really hard on ABS stuff, and went out and made 7 birdies the last round to win his championship and beating a lot of younger guys. So that's great. And who's next? We'll see. Bradley is working with the guys on the PGA Tour. I'm not out there. I really don't want to be traveling and doing all of that so much. But Brad's got a lot of guys out there that are having great success and winning on tour and over in Europe as well. So it's nice to see, some of this stuff getting out there. And, what was once a piece of shelf board that became the power board back in 2008, I guess, when I was working on that stuff on the ABS site. and now you see these out on the driving ranges of the PGA Tour and the LPGA Tour, and so it's kind of interesting to see how these things are applied, at the highest levels of the game, and that they're being embraced by, some of these great players around the world. So anyway, just a little thing here on Lewis. A great congratulations to Lewis for locking this thing up. Pretty incredible to just go out and win that tournament and not have played a tournament in almost a year. I mean, that's probably almost unheard of. But anyway, so those are some thoughts. We'll look forward to getting Lewis on the podcast and diving into this a little bit more. Just wanted to congratulate him again on his fine efforts here, and it doesn't surprise me at all that he won this tournament, but does surprise me that he hadn't played a tournament in almost a year, so that is a bit surprising. But I do believe that good technique can allow this kind of thing to happen. I mean, if you have good technique, you don't really need to practice as much as you do if you don't have good technique. If you don't have good technique, it's a lot of ball beating, a lot of timing, and a lot of practice, and a lot of upkeep and maintenance. And so when you got a good swing like Lewis has, then you can pull something like this off. So anyway, we'll sign out for now, and great stuff, and we'll see you at the next one.